The play is about a 10-year-old girl who is encountering a speed bump in her life. She has lost her father recently.
So she is working through the grieving process, but is able to find a friend in Timmy and to connect with her mother. And the way it's presented for the kids is in a way that they are able to relate to it, but also enjoy it and find the humor in the characters, especially in Timmy and in Dad, who is a character in the show, as she imagines him in her room with her.
And what really blew us away in this story is how gentle and how funny this story is. It really does try to take us into the minds of a young person going through this process.
So I play Vanessa's father, and what's interesting about this character is the fact that he is actually already passed on. So I am the incarnation of her memory of her father.
Through Vanessa's sort of process of grief, she kind of imagines her dad is still around. He becomes her, sole play partner. She doesn't have friends at school. She doesn't talk to anyone. And suddenly Timmy Fibbons, the weird kid, is sort of thrust into her life.
And then she's able to connect to Timmy, but also to her mother during the show, and learn that she is going to be okay.
So at the top of the play, the relationship between Vanessa and her mother is actually pretty strained. They're having a lot of difficulty finding a way to communicate. What's really cool is that I think that Vanessa and her mother, by the end of the play, develop a mutual understanding of one another.
Interrupting Vanessa is a story about resilience. Vanessa needs that very quirky character, Timmy Fibbons, to come in and to remind her of it, to help her find it. It's in her, it's in all of us, that we can survive things that we think we can't. And she's able to do that through this very quirky, funny little boy who has a different way of looking at life.
For me, the other big idea of this play is also empathy. Empathy on Vanessa's part to understand Timmy, and to understand why he is that kid at school and what's happening with him as well. And I think once they understand what's happening in the individual lives, they're able to tune in and to help each other and to become friends. And I think that's another really big, important idea of this story.
Kids will always be in situations where things happen that they don't understand, where life throws a curveball at them, whether it's parents getting divorced or a parent leaving, a parent dying, a friend leaving, moving away. Loss is something that all of us have to deal with, and young people have to deal with, and they have to learn resilience. And we do that through interacting with each other, and that's what this play illustrates so beautifully. I think young people today are just going to love this story, and they're going to laugh a lot.
She's very funny. I mean, they play, and the whole thing about finding this gadget that becomes this boom that could explode, but then it's a life-saving event. So isn't that interesting that, something that could be a danger becomes something that can be a very positive thing? And I think that, that's sort of a little metaphor for what's happening in Vanessa's world, too, that this thing that has absolutely arrested her own development is this little, symbol of hope that it's going to be that new heart that's going to help her move forward.